Bring that ass to the smoke pit.
Hey.
Here we go. So we're kind of doing a bit of a holiday episode.
A little bit.
Yeah, we don't know what holiday we're celebrating, though.
I don't know.
Just another fucking reason to drink, right?
I like it.
Yeah, I feel like when you start getting older, you just start looking for reasons like, oh, well, fucking so-and-so paid off his car. Party!
Exactly,
you know?
yeah. My neighbor stopped hitting his wife for 10 minutes. Party!
Party!
Yeah. That's more specific to my situation, but I'm drunk nonetheless.
Yeah, and drinking when you're older is a lot different than when you're younger. It's like when I was 21, I used to take shots of Everclear, follow it with 151,
Woof.
then follow it with Natty Light, and then we'd fist fight. Now that I'm 30, it's like fucking 3 beers, I might die.
Now it's just called Thanksgiving.
So we have a guest with us this episode. We like bringing guests on just so that way, like we were saying last episode, we get broader perspectives on what's happening in the military. So would you introduce yourself?
My name is Melissa Matisse. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I was in for 10 years, and I am well into the civilian ranks. So.
Of the better service.
Yeah, she has completely transitioned. You don't drink the Kool-Aid anymore?
No, I actually don't even know any of the acronyms. I did a full data dump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because I feel like after the first year, you're still legally required to scream "Yut" whenever you see a Marine Corps bumper sticker.
Exactly, and do a CFT in your backyard.
Yeah, seriously. And speaking of which, I got a fucking bone to pick with. Our shitty producer has all these fucking military stickers on his vehicle, but then he drives like an asshole. He almost ran me over.
Yeah.
And so if you have fucking Marine Corps moto stickers in your vehicle, don't drive like an asshole.
Or just don't drive like an asshole, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Especially if you have military stickers.
Well, he makes himself a target and he runs people over.
So do you have any moto stickers on your vehicle?
No, I don't.
Do you
No
wear any like
stickers.
Marine Corps like gear, T-shirts, anything like that?
Occasionally, actually, I wore the old green sweats yesterday and a USMC sweatshirt when I went out to run some errands. So.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still wear my old tan Coyote beanie because it has my name tape on the back. For my first deployment, because people kept stealing my goddamn beanie.
They're comfy.
Yeah, and then I sewed a name tape on, which could easily be cut off.
Yeah.
And it lasted 5 deployments. Like, nobody fucking stole that shit for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And so I went to the PX and just bought a new one, like, and turned it into stiff so I could keep mine,
That's fair.
And so I was wearing that out in time. Sometimes they're comfy,
Sometimes they are. Yeah, I like those beanies. I still have them, but I'm the guy who steals them from people. So I have a plethora of beanies.
Yeah, Mike's the one thief in the military.
Yeah.
Everybody else is trying to get their shit back.
That's right.
Yeah, and I actually take that back. I do have Iraqi Freedom Veteran plates, which
Ooh,
isn't a sticker,
wow.
but I have the plates.
But you have
so
the plates.
fully committed.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, so what part of Iraq were you in?
I was in Al Taqaddum.
TQ.
Yeah, back in 2004, so
Woo!
before they got the Burger King and stuff. So yeah, it was hard.
Back then it was cool.
Yeah.
Man, I'm a fucking boot, man. I did my first deployment in 2005. I didn't get to TQ till 2007.
Yeah, what was it like?
It was interesting because my first deployment was kind of like cowboys and Indians. Like anybody out past curfew, you could shoot them. And then the second deployment was more like being like a cop on a beat because we were standing up a new Iraqi police station in the area. And so we had like 200 trained, paid Iraqi police officers that would come out and do patrols with us. And, they'd send a fire team or a squad out.
Yep.
And most of it was just like we get intel and we go out and do like nighttime raids. And it was really fucking goofy because we do like 2 4-man fire teams and then we would do bounding Overwatch. Because it pisses me off when people call that a fucking satellite patrol, because it's not what a satellite patrol is.
I mean, okay, yeah, fair enough. I guess it's not, but yeah.
Yeah, a satellite patrol is
I'm guilty of it, that's
big
what I'm
fucking
thinking.
base unit with smaller units satelliting around it. Like our moon's a satellite of the Earth. But we were doing bounding Overwatch, and so it was a lot different than like 2 battalions online, fucking clearing 5 cities and shit.
Right.
And it was more like being like a detective. You'd have to talk to locals, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, this guy's full of shit," and you'd have to weigh like, "All right, is he actually like?" A bad guy, or do they just have some fucking tribal feud and they want you to go fuck him up?
Right,
that happened.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't get there to 2007, but it was it was fun because like the army would come through and they'd fucking like accidentally set their own vehicles on fire.
I would say, yeah. A random story about the army real quick. We did a joint convoy one time, and not only did 2 of their Vics run out of gas. This is 1,000% true story. 2 of their Vics ran out of gas halfway through the convoy, but then the only attack we got, it blew up their fucking water bowl.
What?
We lost all the water.
All the water?
Because we were sitting there waiting for people to come refuel the army's fucking vehicles.
Wow. They probably
Mike, EP Mike, our shit together.
Yeah, you have all this experience, and like, so, we live in a military town, Do you ever find that like when you go out on a date with somebody and he's military, like he doesn't like think that you might be military as well? Like, how do you find dating in a military town?
Dating has its own challenges regardless of where you are, but
Yeah, because men are shit.
yeah. Yeah, well,
Vagina.
Yeah. No. Fuck that. If you just got triggered, go back and look at all the memes that you fucking like today. Like, hoes be like this, or like when you raw dog this, or hit and quit at that. Fuck you, okay? Like, we are shit. Men are shit.
I don't know why you're yelling at me.
I'm yelling at the 3 people listening.
so no, whenever I do go out and, they're like, yeah, I'm I don't know, insert whatever here. Like, I can teach you how to shoot. I'm like, oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Wow, thank you for your service.
Yeah,
Tell me more.
Oh, yeah, tell me more. Mr. fucking water fucking purification specialist.
Exactly, they're specialists.
Yeah. Like, yeah, every Marine's a rifleman. Like, oh, really, dude? Like, is that why you get the pizza box on your uniform?
With the rifle slung on their back.
Yeah, so I think, like, the biggest challenge of dating in a military town is that, as we've established earlier, men are shit. And so every girl has either been cheated on or had a friend cheated on by a service member or, like, an SF guy or something,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, every girl is like, oh, yeah, fucking my ex-Ranger boyfriend. And I'm like, as soon as you said Ranger, I'm like, all right, I know you got cheated on like 37 times.
Exactly.
Like, too easy, right?
That's just the ones you know about.
The ones that you know about. And, yeah, so I find that that's kind of the biggest problem because, like, they only care about it, like, on, like, Veterans Day or whatever. Like, a girl that fucking left you on red would be like, oh, happy Veterans Day. I'm like, really?
Right, yeah,
like,
exactly.
You didn't go on a second date or whatever, but now it's like, oh, happy Veterans Day?
Yeah, it's a really transient area as well. So one of the first things I always ask is, how long have you been here, and how long will you be here?
Yeah.
So
when you say transient, that makes me think like hobos, and there are a lot of hobos.
There are, yeah.
Especially in the summertime, like they're always asking for money on the corners.
Yeah.
And yeah, so and it's just like the military. I haven't met so many friends that meet the love of their life, but they PCS in 2 months, or they deploy.
Yeah.
Like that's another question you need to ask. Like, are you deploying anytime soon? That really fucks up relationships.
like, yeah, Friday.
So how was your Tuesday?
Yeah, so instead of the usual 3 days before we smash, we're gonna have to speed up this timeline.
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, and so let's get married before we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally
so.
good idea.
There's benefits, yeah, I get it.
And how many proposals have you gotten?
Oh gosh, I'm no math whiz, but I can't really count that high. So
Is
Since
you
I've
can't
been
get
here.
that high because you're a Marine or because
Definitely doesn't help, yeah.
wait, what? No.
yeah, I've been proposed to at least 4 or 5 times.
And I feel like on the 6th time, I'm going to get you. Yeah. You'll say yes eventually.
Eventually.
I'll wear you down.
Difficult dating in the military because your reputation precedes you, and then people who are just trying to date you because of your status,
Right.
like whether it be rank or job or whatever the case is. There's people out there that they want to they want to bang a ranger, or they
Right.
they're like, oh yeah, well my boyfriend or my husband's an officer, and so or my girlfriend is a this or whatever, and they like tie their status to their partners.
Yeah.
Like that T-shirt that respect our rank. My husband's a second lieutenant.
Woof.
I feel like that had to be a gag.
No, I mean I'd wear it, but
It's real.
yeah, it's very real. I will say if I could play devil's advocate to this, it's like somebody being in the military and actively trying to date like while you're operational. Like it is tough. It's not excusable to be a douchebag.
That's fair.
But I mean, take that as you will, everybody watching. But it is tough, and it's added stress on top of your already stressful job. So it's not like nobody's ever in the wrong unless you outright cheat or outright lie or whatever. Then you're just a scumbag as a human being. But I feel like if you're traveling all the time, or you're never around, or even your travels make you a little antisocial, which like me, my anxiety comes from the military. So
yeah, I get that. And to the cheating aspect, everybody likes to, be like, oh, fuck that guy or girl, you cheated while you're deployed. And I'll play devil's advocate for this. Mm-hmm. And if, for those of you listening, feel free to send us your thoughts on this and how you feel.
You always do.
Yeah, you always do anyways.
Why not make it important?
Yeah, and make actually relevant versus like, oh, you guys are going to follow me back? Like, okay, fuck you, random dude.
Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah, we saw that, all right? You can send us a meme or a specific line that you like from the show. Just follow me back as your opening fucking salvo. And so, speaking from personal experience, you get married young, and then you're deployed or you're training all the time, and that shit's hard. You know, being on the other side of it, like if you've ever been a guy who's dated a girl in the military, it fucking sucks when you can't hear from your partner.
Yeah.
Like, we got to give dependents a little bit more credit than we do.
I can agree with that.
Not saying that they should be like entitled, like some of them are, but for the majority of dependents, they're, you know, single moms or whatever, and it sucks being on this end of it. And you know, if you're a dude and you're always fucking deployed and you're always fucking training, and then you know your significant other starts to get lonely, like. And then you don't fucking put any effort into it. Like, if I'm deployed and I'm, like, dating somebody, like, I'm going to, like, take fucking $20 out of my beer fund and get flowers scheduled for,
something.
Like, if I'm going to be on an op for a month and I know I'm not going to be able to talk to her, get flowers sent halfway. So it's, like, something, you know? Because effort is so important. These guys are just like, oh, well, they stand on the righteousness of just serving their country should, you know, cancel out the other person's want, needs, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. They give up everything to move to some shitty fucking 29 Palms,
Jacksonville,
Fort Benning, you know, Fort Bliss, fucking piece of shit area. And then, you know, they're completely unsatisfied. And a lot of military people are selfish. Yeah. And that they think that their career is the only thing that matters because they're serving. Like, okay, dude, first of all, calm your tits.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you weren't there to fucking not fix the Humvee I needed 2 weeks ago, I think the military would survive.
You don't know that.
Yeah, and then, like, their wife had, like, a fucking great job somewhere, you know, that they went to school for or whatever. And then other people that just shit out kids. So what do you think about that?
With the monogamy aspect or lack of, or with...
Ooh, let's go there.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's spicy.
Yeah, well, when it comes to... I guess it doesn't really... It's not military specific, but I don't think as animals, if humans being a part of the animal kingdom, we're not naturally monogamous creatures. And there's very few animals that are. So I think that it's a matter of respect and love. It's like, hey, I love you and respect you. Here's my gift of monogamy. So it's easier.
Yeah, because there's a lot of girls who want all this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of girls out there beating down the doors.
Exactly.
And so if I choose to give myself to somebody, like, that's a fucking gift.
It's a gift.
You know what
You're
I mean?
welcome.
Yeah, the only other animals that mate for pleasures are dolphins, and fucking female dolphins will bang every dude in the fucking pod so that way they don't kill the kid.
Disgusting.
You know? And so you're absolutely right. Like, if you choose to, like, give somebody a gift, but I feel it has to be reciprocated. Like, you outline your expectations in the beginning, like, hey, look, I'm going to be deployed a lot, and so this is what I need from you. Like, if I come home from the field, don't fucking bitch about something stupid the moment I walk in the door.
Yeah.
Like, at least give me a blowjob first, or wait till the next morning. Like, is it that fucking urgent? You know what I mean? Like, me forgetting to take out the trash before I went to the field, is that fucking urgent?
Yeah, and unfortunately, military people, whether you're deploying or come back from the field, any lapse of time that you're together, when you get back together, automatically the first thing you do as human beings butt heads who had it worst, and nobody wins that argument.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I know.
everything I say
is great. Yeah.
And so when you did you experience that where like civilian guys that you dated try to like compare what they were going through to?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was it's kind of who has the proverbial bigger dick. It's like, no, I'm gonna win every time.
Just a massive penis.
Huge. My lady dick, I'll slap you across the face with
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, my fucking lady dick's a 240. Like what you got. Yeah, and so I get that. And then from, you know, the military aspect, actually reaching out to your partner and being like, hey, look, I know I'm not here to, you know, give you the things that you need. Like, what can I do in the meantime? Like, I remember I sent flowers to my ex's mom for Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. Like, I had scheduled it before I deployed. And so, like, I got a letter, like, you know, 3 or 4 weeks later saying it was the sweetest fucking thing. And I'm like, yeah, I know, because I'm badass.
Yeah.
And so, you know, guys don't think about that. They think that whatever they're doing is more important. It's just consideration, you know?
Right.
Like, what would you want if you were on the other side of it? Mm-hmm. So, if you had any advice for guys that are dating female service members, what would you say?
Yeah, just be a normal fucking person. And like you guys have mentioned it before about, you know, confidence. Just like be who you are, be an individual. So.
Now, but what if who you are is a shitty person and you join the military to not be a shitty person? What do you give to those people?
Yeah, the military is going to change you. If you are inherently shitty, you will continue to be shitty.
So true.
Yeah.
Right, good answer.
Next question.
Yes, you knocked that down.
Yeah, and so we it's kind of weird because you have different things that like rank get involved, and you know you meet people who are different ranks, and then you hit it off, and so you already have to deal with that struggles. Like I have a friend who I won't call out specifically, but you know he was dating a girl that was much higher ranking than him, and it's just like he always had to like keep it on the low, and he felt like inferior because like she would kind of like talk down to him, you know. And be like, no. Like, if we're dating, like, I'm not fucking PFC or, Schmuckatelli or whatever.
Right.
Like, I'm Dan before I'm on my rank,
It's true.
Like, if I come home and I don't take out my military stress on you, like, don't take your military stress out on me.
That's fair, yeah.
And that goes both ways. Like, you get home from the field and your wife has been dealing with kids and all this stuff, sexually deprived for the nation's freedom.
That's right, yeah.
And the first thing you do is come home and fucking take it out on her because your boot got a DUI.
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
And so, now that I think that we've thoroughly vetted that.
That's a little too deep. Not for this show.
Yeah, it kind of... and I think it has to do with the way that you interact with people.
Mm-hmm. And
I think on one of our first episodes, we alluded to a story that actually never got told. So I'm going to call you out on this.
Which one?
You remember the story about how you got in trouble for your bedside manner?
Oh, right. Well, yeah, it's fair. All right.
Yeah, so being able to... the way you interact with people is very important.
So I feel like it was not my fault, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'll let the audience decide. So we were doing a convoy to Fob Payne. It's like 2013. And it was like a 9-hour trip, so it's super long. And about 4 hours in, we hit an IED. Not surprising, because it's Helmand Province and everything sucks. And,
Yeah, 4 hours? I mean, like, where were they asleep that day?
Yeah, it took them a minute.
Ahmed, you forgot to...
It was absolutely the B team.
Yeah.
And so it was about 2 Vicks behind us, and it rolled the 12 by MRAP, one of the big up armor motherfuckers.
Yeah, the fucking ones that weigh like, what,
Exactly.
like 30,000, 40,000 pounds?
I don't know, but I mean, EP Mike, I've never been in one, so that's an inside joke, but whatever.
Quick side story.
Yeah.
So co-host Mike, he's actually kind of a badass. I can't say a lot, but he's got some street fucking cred.
I appreciate that.
EP Mike was just like, thought that he was just in the Navy and like that he had never really experienced anything or whatever. And like he went through, School of Infantry like I did. He's FMF and some other stuff. And so he's like, oh yeah, like these things called MRAPs. Have you ever been in one?
Yeah, he talked to me like I was a child on a fucking school trip. Like, this is an MRAP. He like showed me a picture. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's why he sucks. Back to the story. So we hit an IEDs, a couple Vicks back, and we hear over the intercom like, halt convoy, and then we're waiting for, the radio to come up and make sure everybody's okay. And then finally, like through the muffled radio, you hear like, oh, this is Corporal so-and-so. We hit an IED, all 3 members alive. We just need like extract. So it was me in the very back next to the doors. We had our corpsman, and then we had a chaplain, then we had a gunner. The doc was like, hey, RP, take me over there. You're my security. I'm like, roger that. So
all right, let's do it.
Yeah, so yeah. I'm doing my Medal of Honor run. Like, please open up on me, please, for the love of God. And so I'm running over there, and so I set my one-man security. And they're climbing out through the turret one at a time. And like, I mean, this vehicle's pretty fucked up. And so in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, okay, I might see my friends fucked up. So I'm kind of like, all right.
Trying to get mentally prepared.
Exactly. So yeah. I'm taking my knee, I'm pointing into the desert, fucking scanning nothing. And first guy climbs out, dusts off, he's fine. Second guy climbs out a little more hesitant, but still fine. And we have one more to go. And he's the one talking. So I'm like, everybody's fucking alive. This is a fucking miracle. So he climbs out, he dusts off, and his back's to us. And he's like, I'm good. And then Doc's like, all right, turn around. And he turns around. And the impact from the blast forced his eye to poke out of his head. Oh. It's like protrude like super far, like looked like he like sat on a cactus. So and it was just the one fucking eye too, which made it so much more weird. Yeah. One eye was bulging out of his head. And so obviously me and my doc were just both like, holy fuck, which you're not supposed to do apparently. And he's like, what is it? And Doc's like, hey, no, look at me. He's like, you have a headache? And he starts doing mace and stuff. And
he gets back to being a professional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it took a second. So we fucking, we get him back. And then like a couple days later when we come back to Leatherneck, we see him at the BAS and he's fine. They literally just pushed his eye back in, which apparently is modern military medicine. They just pushed it right back in.
Heel pump strike.
Exactly. And so then the doctor pulled us aside and he's like, hey, were you guys the ones who responded? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, all right, come here for a second. He's like, you guys did a really good job. He's like, RP, I appreciate you helping. And he's like, but just for the record, he's like, your bedside manner was trash. And I was like, what? And he's like, you really scared that Marine. I was like, well, I don't care. His eye was falling out of his head. I was terrified. Like, fuck
we should be alarmed.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a normal human being. So I got accosted for my bedside manner in a fucking valley in Afghanistan.
Yeah. And for those of you who just heard that, indeed, co-host Mike did just fart.
Oh, come on. I hate you so much. It was clearly Melissa, but it's whatever.
It was the chair. I'm a lady.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I get that, and and it's kind of like whenever you have a guy hit by an IED or something, the first person that they see, we're all dickheads, we can laugh about it,
that's true.
Fucking got blown up.
Yep.
And so they're just mortified.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and so like the first person they see, they're really looking for like affirmation and like the whole. How much of their mental attitude and like whether they survive or not really depends on the first person they see, because you don't know how fucked up you are
Very much,
when you first get hit. And the times that I've met some boomballows, I've gotten fucking rocked and put on my ass. The first person who runs up to me, it's most guys who get blown up have a very specific question that they need to ask, and usually it's, is my dick still there?
Yeah, where's my dick in the balls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is my dick still there?
I remember I was telling you a joke earlier, like, I literally, when we ran over the toe popper, it literally woke me up from my fucking nap. Like, it did nothing. The first thing I did was grab my crotch. I was like, is my penis alive?
Yeah,
it's a very real concern.
Yeah, it is. And, like, a lot of people don't realize this, but in 2010, I think, so the numbers were like 70 service members lost their genitals from IEDs that were victim initiated. So the British, who took a third of all their casualties in the city of Sangin, where I was, in Helmand Province, where Mike was, and they were guys just being mutilated. So they started inventing these Kevlar diapers that you had to wear. And you think fucking swamp ass is bad enough?
No shit.
In the middle of fucking Afghanistan in the summer, in the fucking wadis, now you have to wear a Kevlar diaper.
Yeah, I refuse to wear mine.
You can't
it was so uncomfortable. I didn't want to wear it.
Now, see, I feel the opposite about that because I would have literally worn nothing else but a helmet and a Kevlar diaper and boots.
I hated that diaper.
Like, I'd have been fucking buck naked with, like one mag in my fucking rifle and like one on the buttstock, because of the squad leader, so I didn't shoot a lot, and my radio on my back and like just completely like a Silkies hike, like Donnie O'Malley, nothing but Silkies, boots, diaper.
Nothing but Silkies and big dick energy.
Yeah, seriously. Did you guys when you were in Iraq? Did you guys have the new generation Humvees yet, or were you on the old ones?
I was on the flight line because I was an avionics technician, so I didn't really see a whole lot of Humvees.
Okay. So how do you think technology has progressed since when you were a boot to like how they do that job field now? Like, what has been the biggest leap in technology?
Well, I was on Hueys and Cobras. That's what I worked on, and so now they went to the Yankees and the Zulus. So I never got the opportunity to work on those, but that's just like all avionics now. So it's just a bunch of TV screens and a lot of technology, a lot of space age shit. So.
Yeah, because I tell you, it's pretty fucking righteous when you're out on patrol and like some asshole takes a pop shot and you're like, I'm too lazy to buddy rush over there. Like, there could be IEDs, all kind of shit, and you're just like, all right, your request fire mission over. And the fucking Cobra comes flying and just screaming. It spends like 30,000 taxpayer dollars to take out a guy I could have easily killed with like 3 shots. Like,
why waste your time?
Yeah, why my energy? I'm fucking miserable as it is. I've been laid in months. Like,
they need that action too.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
that's true.
It's not fair. If I slayed all the bodies, then there would be no bodies for anybody else to slay.
So humble.
So you got to share,
Yeah, that's right.
And like people used to tell me, like, you can't be point man every time.
That's
Like no matter how, and especially as you become like a leader and you get promoted, you get further away from the action, and it's fucking frustrating because all you want to do is stack fucking bodies, and you can't do that. And it's like you have to let your boots stack bodies, so they can get their war stories and their experience. Yeah, and it's shitty because like. Your first deployment is one thing, and then as you start getting further away, people start expecting more from you and asking you questions you don't have the answer to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lance Corporal, why is this company so fucked up? I'm like, you got me, bud. Once you figure it out, let me know.
Show business, baby.
So, Melissa, what would you say was the most difficult thing to, like, not physically, but like mentally cope with while you were deployed?
Well, I feel like it's all very relative, like you said. Like nobody's experience is the same, but I mean, it was really hard taking those water bottle showers.
That's a good point.
But good thing I had, good friends, so like there's that visual.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there were plenty of guys there to help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm thinking of my girlfriend. Like, well, the fellow females in like the tent I shared.
Like the high and tights. So like, time for a shower. You haven't had one in 12 hours.
Yeah, gross. But no, I mean, it was. I was there over the holidays, so that was,
That's rough.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think that is probably the biggest difference that I've noticed between like male and female Marines is like we'll make gay jokes all day, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, Mike, let me lick your ass. Yeah, but then like female Marines don't really make gay jokes.
No.
Oh, we do.
Well,
really?
I've seen.
I was like,
because we just tried to crack one with a lesbian. And you're like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
You should be like, yeah, let me get some of that scissor. Like,
the plumbing works, ladies.
The plumbing works, ladies. And so I feel for me the most difficult thing to deal with mentally was being responsible for other people, because inherently we're all shitbags at one point in time or another, and you feel your eyes start to close on posts. You're like, oh, I'm tired to clean my weapon, or time to get up and time to get dressed and go relieve somebody on shift.
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, well, if I just relax a little bit longer, then nobody's gonna care if I'm 30 seconds late or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have to realize like people's entire life experiences are completely dependent on whether you do your job or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for me, having like the weight and the gravity of other people being affected by my actions was what was the most stressful thing for me to deal with mentally.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I would say like a big thing for me was like, especially being an RP, my job is like to empathize, at least on the lowest level.
You empathize?
Would you shut the fuck up? Let me tell my goddamn stories. See, empathize. I'd always wanted like, I didn't have to be another MOS. I didn't have to be anything other than what I was and what the government pays me to do. But I wanted to at least be on their level, so if they needed me to be that, I could always do that. And so there'd be times I would be on foot patrols, without a chaplain or anything, and just because I could, and the guys trusted me. And so that really started to weigh on me when like the guys would take casualties on their team and like do all this other stuff, and I wanted to be there, but there's nothing more I can do. Like dead is dead. There's nothing more I could do, and that shit weighed on me a lot.
Yeah, I get that, and also it's kind of like difficult mentally when you're doing your job and you hear about the plights of other people.
Exactly.
Like, 'cause I'm sure like when you're in like TQ, like you heard like this happened here, or these guys did this, or you'd see the the medevac birds come in and out, and like you see people that are too far away. I was in Afghanistan and I was on an outlook post, and probably about 500 or 600 meters away in the city, there was a patrol going through, and they were going through an alleyway that I didn't have eyes on. And I'm just sitting there, watching the patrol, like not much else to do. And then, I still remember to this day, like there was a shock wave, and then, the shock wave hits, and you hear the boom, and the cloud goes up instantly. Yep. And it was 4 Marines were on this little outpost. We had like 3 or 4 Afghan soldiers with us on the edge of the Sangin Wadi. And then, as soon as the dust settles a little bit, then, I hear a voice come over, and I still remember the guy. Like, I knew who the guy was just by the sound of his voice, and just hearing like the desperation in his voice, saying like, we have casualties, and like you're sitting there, you're on your edge, and like my guys are like, come on, we gotta help. And I had to be the one to like throttle back and be like, look, we're only 4 people. Like, we don't even have a fucking Val in here. If we hit an IED, we're just going to make the situation worse. Yep. Like, there's an entire squad there. The squad leader's good. The team leaders are good. Your Marines are good. Trust them. Let them do their jobs. And they're, like, to the point of, like, tears and frustration because they start reading the ZAP number, and, like, the first name comes over, and they're like, all right, who's in that squad that has that name that starts with this letter, And people start figuring out because only one person in the squad has this name, and, and it's either one of 2 for the other name, and we lost 2 Marines, and I remember like how helpless I felt. Yeah. Because we were so close. Like, we could have maybe went and helped provide security. Like, we could have done whatever. But like, I had to be the responsible adult to tell my boots like, no, like there's nothing we could possibly do to help the situation. Yeah. Like, all we will do is make the situation worse. And so I just have to like sit there and wait, and for QRF and the medevac to come in, and just feeling helpless. Absolutely fucking helpless. And then that sense of guilt once you leave, because like, what the other people are in store for. Yeah, for sure. Like, when people show up, whether it's combat related or it's just like, you're at a fob and like living conditions are hard, and rocket mortar attacks and all that stuff. Because you have people who weren't designed to fucking leave the wire whatsoever. They'll still get killed by a mortar strike, Yeah. Like, it's a very real fucking threat.
Yeah, the place is kinetic no matter where you are. Yeah.
And it's just like, you look at like the casualties and stuff, and like there's a fair amount of people who are just on the way to the fucking MWR. Yeah, then, exactly, yeah. Bam, fucking rocket or a mortar takes them out. It's a real fucking threat, And like feeling guilty when you get back home, just like, man, I should be there, like I should be helping.
Oh, that was huge, yeah. It's like, I'm sure you guys, everybody here can empathize, like when you come back from your first real deployment and like you're in an airport or something, people are just like going about their day and like, do you not know there's a war going on? You know what I mean? That feeling is like so deep and resonates so well with me. Like,
yeah, like I got cut off and flipped the bird on the highway. Like, I did something wrong. Right. And it was just like, I literally just got back from my second deployment. Yeah. And like I didn't even do anything wrong, but like people don't give a shit, Nope. Like, I was in Camp Lejeune too. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. And so, Melissa, what would you say was the hardest thing for you to deal with once you got back from your deployment?
It was very surreal. Like you said, it was just the transition of coming back and just being amongst the living, I guess, just like normal people, going about their normal lives. And it's like, okay, I just got back from this place that was like essentially Groundhog Day. Like, every day was pretty much the same. And as you mentioned earlier about, doing your job day in and day out, and if you didn't do it right, it really impacted a lot of lives. Yep. So, I was an avionics tech, and I had somebody say, like, some of those maintainers are actually pretty smart. I'm like, well, no fucking shit. Because if you're dumb, people die.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you gotta kind of know what you're doing. And, even though I never left the base, but we would get attacked quite a bit. I was there in Takata in 04.
Yeah, it's super kinetic. Like
Yeah, a lot
04,
going on.
05.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's...
We'd have mortars coming in, and I'd be running out towards the flight line to get the aircraft off the ground.
Yeah.
And, we'd have less than 15 minutes to get the aircraft off the ground for, medevacs or casualty evacuations or things like that. Or, to go shoot that guy that you didn't feel like getting. So,
Damn it, damn.
Yeah, whatever it was. But, it was really interesting, coming back, and it's like, okay, I'm not running into something. I'm not like, which is totally counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like, you're just back, you're like, okay, I'm just here in Camp Pendleton, just living my life.
And I think that that really speaks volume to what we talked about on the last show, like seeing things from other people's military experience. Like, like you're out there and like as you're getting attacked, you're still trying to get this bird off the ground, and you have some fucking poor asshole like me. It's like, come on, like where the fuck's this bird,
Yeah.
And like Mike over there, like being rude to casualties, and
Just the one.
just the one.
His eyeball.
Yeah, he's
That's
fine. He's
funny,
fine now. So and, you have us on the other end of it, and I've been a long proponent of this. Like, we've had air dominance for so long, and like when you're out there and your fucking buddy's bleeding out, and you're like, where the fuck is this bird? Like every moment is an eternity.
Yep.
So like all respect to those maintainers and people in avionics that got shit working, because like you have the Cobra out there and he gets the bad guy in his sight and he pulls the trigger and it's just like audible click.
Yep.
Nothing happens. Like that makes my life a lot fucking harder. Granted, that was all the tax at like a small city in like fucking Vermont.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna have to pay for that missile, all the speeding tickets that the state paid to government, and all that. And so, but either way, it's just you have no idea what somebody else is going through, and people are so quick to shit on other people's service. And
Of course, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I think that there also has to be a balance, because like everybody gets teased.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like true equality is everybody gets teased the same. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think that sometimes like I throttle back a little bit on like female memes and stuff, just because there are guys who will take that shit too far.
They will, yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Make it their screensaver, yeah.
Yeah, because I got my buddy who runs Decelerate Your Life sent me a screenshot of people like talking shit about me on like a post that he made. Like, oh yeah, I got fucking blocked from Pop Smoke, and they're like, oh well, how'd you get blocked from Pop Fairy Dust or whatever?
Right.
And it was just like, oh well, I only corrected him on a certain thing, and like he had been blocked from several pages, and like I asked other people, like, this guy, and they're like, oh yeah, that guy's a dickhead. Like he was sending me like racist shit, and
Oh wow, okay,
like,
yeah.
and like I only block people. Like they have to cross a real fuck. If you look at the memes that I fucking post and like how dark my humor is, you have to cross a fucking line to get blocked by me. And everybody sees that from their own way, like, well, I only did this, or like I am the victim in this, and everybody's a hero in their own story.
Of course.
And so being able to like see from the other perspective, like if I post a picture of like a close friend of mine, I'm like, oh hey, like good job to her for graduating this course, and people are like fucking pogue.
Right, of course.
Like you're being mean to my friend. Like why wouldn't I block you?
Exactly. Yeah.
And oh well, you get fucking sensitive. Like no. The thing that happens in the military a lot is people be like, oh you fucking pogue, your fucking entire service is shit. And I'm like, wow, really? And like, oh don't get butthurt and triggered. It was just a joke. Like okay, like if you say something, I get to say something back.
Yeah.
Like that's how banter works.
Right.
But people will they'll fucking rail you in your biggest insecurities, and then get fucking pissed off when you say something back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're supposed to just take abuse in the military. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
No, take a fucking lean.
It's like a big fat dick.
Exactly.
Enjoy your freedom.
Some of these. That's
Some of
right.
those. And so if we have any closing thoughts, do you have anything that you want to speak to?
Gosh, I mean, we can go back to what it's like being in a military town, because I just moved here a few months ago. So
Yeah.
with the ratio being like 500,000 to 1, I don't know, don't be a misogynist. Like, don't be, like, be a normal fucking person. But, yeah. Hoorah, Semper Fi. I mean, I'm, like, triggered now. It's fucking Marine stuff.
All right, so for everybody tuning in, we'd like to thank you and hope you have happy holidays, Merry fucking Christmas for me.
All the holidays, that's right.
Yeah, we want to appreciate everybody who's been giving us support, all the the great emails that we've got, all the bad emails that we've got.
A lot of those.
Yeah, we're starting to go up in more listeners and views and stuff, and so we feel a responsibility to be good stewards of information in the military community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah, we're gonna talk shit and we're gonna fucking, you know, our EP's gonna tell false stories and all that.
Exactly.
But other than that,
Monster cock around.
yeah, but other than that, you know, like we want to hear what you guys have to say. We want to hear what you guys have to think, what you want to talk about, what you want us to cover, and you know, because we're here for you. And at the end of the day, if you guys aren't listening, then we have no one to talk to.
And we just sit here talk to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets boring after a while.
No, our conversations are hilarious.
They are funny. You're right. I was trying to be coy, but it's funny.
Yeah, you kind of have to like to be in the military. You have to be like super fucking arrogant, but also humble at the same time.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, because like when you're in the situation in the moment where it calls for you to be like confident, you have to be super confident.
Yep.
Because people exactly, you know, be like, all right, well, you start taking contact from that building, whoever the closest person in, you're the fucking point man. You know, like be confident. You know, kick that door dynamically.
But be humble about
Yeah,
it.
but once you get in there, be humble and realize
humble,
that you
yeah.
get shot full of holes and get your whole squad killed. You know, one misstep could get everyone you care about dead.
That's right.
So it is interesting having to partner those two things together.
Yeah.
The duality of having to be, you know, confident and the kind of person you need to hold back, not push forward, but then also have the restraint to understand that you're not infallible and that you're not bulletproof.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, I'd like to thank our guests.
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good job,
man.
And we'll see you next time.